Week 14, baby. Last week of the regular season. And listen, if you're told at the beginning of the season in week 14, you have an opportunity to win and get in, you take that. You take that. So let's strap them up and let's play ball. Gentlemen, welcome back to the season finale of Safe Space. I believe this was season 5. What a season we've had. We have a ton to get to. I am filming on Saturday because it took me, there's 2,034 words in my Word document. Great feedback from the league. This is going to be a long video. I'm sorry, John Sedano. I'm sorry to interrupt your ShopRite visits on Sunday, that this video is too long for you. The rest, I hope you enjoy it. Before we get started into the Safe Space submissions, I would just like to acknowledge that I am one of the teams that I reference, win and you get in. Do I deserve to be in this situation? No, I don't. I don't deserve it. I got very lucky last week. I was on my deathbed. I was given my last rites during Monday Night Football. As Jake Browning ripped through the Jaguars defense, as Evan Ingram caught 10-yard out, 5-yard out, touchdown. I was given my last rites. But I squeaked by, and I got lucky because I faced an opponent, Anthony Marullo, that lacks the managerial skills. To put me away. And I put this message in the group chat. I might be a team of destiny, and I think that was portrayed the wrong way. I wasn't bragging about being a team of destiny, but listen, I've said it multiple times. I've said it year over year. It takes a lot of luck. It takes a lot of luck. If we were crowning the person that deserved to be champion every year, I'd have 3 rings. I have not gotten the luck. But I squeaked by last week. If I could get by Tony again this week, I think I might have a team of destiny on my hands. That's all I'm saying. Each year, God graces one team. I might have been touched by light. We'll see. I still have to get by this week. One other point on this, Marullo, listen, I like you. I respect you in some ways. Not always, in some ways. Spineless. Have a backbone. You put a video in the chat about how you wanted to embarrass me without a quarterback, and it almost worked. It would have been hilarious. You would have been able to get me. But then less than 24 hours later, you're apologizing to the group and begging to get me again. And then when you do get me again, you text me, this was my plan the whole time. No, it wasn't. No, nobody's believing that. You took your shot. You would have embarrassed me. If you knocked me out, so be it. But let's not pretend that this was the plan the whole time. Have a backbone. Don't be spineless. Let's get to the videos. We have a ton to get to. Okay. Safe Space, we start with the finale and we start with the season recap. I ordered these in terms of the current standings. So the rival recap zone, Brian Marsh will be kicking us off. Brian Marsh has said it's been a lot of fun for his team. Not much more to say than that. Wish we all got along. Felt like it was one of the more hostile seasons throughout. Can take some of the fun out of it at times. Wow, Brian, thank you for getting off to such a positive start. Tony says, I went out and got my guys. A lot of people I took chances on that ended up panning out. Love seeing my late round rookie picks flourish. Stood on business. I was actually looking at the draft earlier this morning in preparation for these videos. And Tony, in his last 2 rounds, picked Tank Dell and Rashee Rice, 2 of the best picks of the draft. Tank Dell obviously is out for the year, but was a great pick up until that. Tony really did have the best draft. Ian Ian Jones, full PPR league, he takes 3 straight running backs. Waiting until round 5 to take a receiver, and then selects back-to-back QBs. Jones trusted his gut and is speaking in third person and silenced the noise. This is a hard knocks, old school run first team. John Sedano, amazing season. Clawed my way back from an awful start, battled adversity with serious injuries. Looking forward to a playoff run. John Sedano. Amazingly lucky season, some might say, but hey, it takes some luck. Kevin Lamb, thought my draft was dog shit, but had a couple of good guys and clawed my way back through some trades. Honestly, made a lot of risky moves that could have sunk my season, but if you're going to make any sort of run, you gotta risk it for the biscuit. Agree. People forget that A.J. Brown, who obviously is Kevin's best player, got off to like a very slow start to the season. I think the first 2 weeks were very meh for him. John Rast, you live off the league's fear of people being injured, and then you die by the injuries, he says. What a season this been for John Rast. Through September, through October, we could tell through his safe space submissions that he was writing his championship acceptance speech, essentially. And now, if Charlie wins, if I win, and if Michael wins this week, John Rast won't even make the playoffs, which will be the biggest regular season collapse of all time. So I know there's been a lot of attention on my matchups. Let's not forget that. Michael Weston, have a great team. Most teams give me their best performance, so I have 6 losses, but that doesn't show the full picture. You know, Michael in the playoffs, he's going to live and die by the Buccaneers. Rashad White, who's been great, and Mike Evans, who's been great, but do you want to live and die by the Buccaneers? We will see. Charlie Creed, tumultuous. A grind from week 1 until week 14. Fair, but Charlie takes care of business this week. He's in. That's all I can ask for. I'm next. This season, it's been frustrating for me. I feel like each year I can make a few trades that really like elevate me and put me over the top. And like really the Bijan for Mostert and Debo trade has panned out really nicely. But it was a tough year. Not a good draft to start with. But like I said, I'm either going to be mediocre, finish at 7-7, not make the playoffs, or might be the team destiny. Spencer Sklar, my season is an utter and colossal failure. What I thought was a promising roster turned out to be a dud. A bunch of qualities, but no go-off guys. Yeah, you know, Spencer, I'd say this is a pretty on-par season for you. James Ortiz, my season was another classic botch job. Sorry-ass management stripped any potential my team had. Jalen was the lone bright spot. What a horrible and disappointing season. Will this be the season that motivates James to change his fantasy football management style? Probably not. Christian cursed, but won't make any excuses like most of the league would. Just needs to be better. I appreciate that. Candid assessment, Christian. Eric, draft bust, yes, from Andre. Tragic injuries, yes, Mike Williams and James Conner. Stack failed epically, yes, DK and Gino. Do I still have 2 championships? Yes, so fuck off, can't wait to make a run at 3 next year. Is Eric unbearable to listen to? Yes. Wrapping up with Matt Lynch, started off bad, never got any better. We're going to touch more on Lynch later in the show. Let's get to the next segment. All right, your takes from this season. I actually did not participate in any of the polls. I forgot to do that. Off the top of my head, the only thing that I wish we did is draft a little later. We drafted in mid-August. I would rather draft like after the 3rd preseason game. I have not enjoyed watching football this season. It's turning into the NBA with refs taking over games. Hard to find interest in a game without fantasy or gambling. We have another similar submission. The NFL overall is not the same product that's been in our lifetime. Too much mediocre football being played, not many upper tier QBs, bad reffing, and too many injuries. Hopefully the NFL takes a long look at the state of this league this offseason. I have this year watched less NFL than I've had in a long time. I mean, the NFL is not my favorite sport. I prefer basketball, and this also probably has to do with like the Giants just having a horrible season from week 1 and my fantasy team not being great. But like on Sundays, like I'll tune into the day games, but I'm in and out. I have not watched a full night game in a long time. And a lot of games I just don't even bother turning into. So I don't know. I hope I'm not fading out of football, but I also it's like tough to like just dedicate all your time watching every game. But saying that, I think we all agree that higher quality football would be better football. This has also been like a really bad year for injuries to like key players, quarterbacks especially. The NFL should not ban the tush push. Eagles came up with a great play design, and it'll be disappointing to see it taken away after the season. One storyline that I wish I never hear again in NFL discourse, I don't care. I don't care about the tush push. This has been a season-long storyline, which is quite frankly embarrassing for the league that people are talking about that fucking tush push. God. Ortiz's inability to trade is truly remarkable. I don't think we've ever texted about a trade all season, and I pretty much talked to everyone. I believe Ortiz should outsource trading decisions to Kevin Carroll so he has a chance to get a deal done. Listen, I mean, we've talked. We've yelled, we've screamed, we've begged for James to change. Listen, sometimes you can't help a lost cause. A lot of our league members haven't gotten very lucky this season, and it's gone to their heads. This seems like directly about Michael Weston. Sedano maintains his status as league which? 4th fewest points in the league, least amount of points against, 9-4. Can't make it up. Yeah. I mean, it's incredible that Johnny's 9-4. He has missed Jefferson most of the season, so you gotta give him some credit there. But definitely lucky. We'll see if he's a top 4 seed. I would think that one of the top seeds, if he's not a top 4 seed, might want to pick him. Especially like fucking Brandon Staley said Eckler might start being a backup. The league council is useless. The league lost its integrity. Lynch really doesn't have it. I could see Rast having a gambling problem. That just seems like an amalgamation of points. Sklar is still soft as fuck. I strongly think Lynch's draft performances are directly correlated with weed consumption prior to the draft. That Delta 8 pen was flowing in Charleston. I think maybe the guy sold Lynch Delta 0-14 instead. Wow, I forgot who wrote this, but we got some real comedic geniuses in this group, let me tell you. Delta 0-14. I do think we voted Lynch either one of or the best draft in my post-draft preseason video, so sometimes it's just not your year, but that has been emphatic for Matthew this year. Always thought fantasy football required too much time and effort. I have almonds stuck in my throat again. Always thought fantasy football required too much time and effort for Lynch to be able to fully commit. Then he came out with the horror... the almonds. He came out with the horror score and shocked the league. Now I'm not sure where he stands. I wouldn't know a good player to draft from a can of paint. That one was from Lynch. Every league needs a John Rast, an ultra-aggressive trader that gets everyone's trade juices going so the rosters don't stagnate during the year. John has been a great addition to the league, especially in comparison to Paddock. Eagles Super Bowl bucket. Salmon might take me out. Last one, Bills are frauds. Dak is pretty real. New York football still sucks, and I'm going to get a drink of water. Okay. Gentlemen's Club Manager of the Year. We have a clear winner with 5 votes. I will read the other people that received votes first. Kevin Lamb, you received 2 votes. Had a pretty shit team at first, looking like one of the worst. Then makes the right deals to get the studs on his team for a late season push. Quietly directed his team to a good season with some trades, even though he didn't have a QB. Marsh obviously just had a great team, but managed it well. Yeah, Kevin. I think Kevin's going to be one of the teams that is competing for the championship this year. John Rest, you got 2 votes for Manager of the Year. Went hard for trades, and they were all objectively good moves. I highly disagree with that point. Love to see the active management. I mean, yes. No. Like, Bijan for Mostert and Debo was not objectively a good deal. Trading away Zach Moss or trading for Henry and not getting Tajay Sharp, were not good deals. You think Tua for Goddard was a good deal, and now he's stuck with Derek Carr in a must-win week? This lead. I was going to make a point, but I'm so mad at these fucking almond crumbs in my throat that we're just going to move on. John Sedano got 2 votes. One of them was from himself, and the only comment was myself. But he got a real vote. He should get more credit for his season this year. Not sure if it's pure luck or if it's witchcraft, but his team wins. He doesn't have a top-tier squad, but he consistently makes the right start-sit decisions and waiver wire pickups. Sitting at 9-4 and 4th overall speaks for itself. Comparing his team to everyone else's in the playoffs, it's hard not to argue that John is the Gentlemen's Club Manager of the Year. Nice job. A nice written few sentences there, but I think John just got lucky with the points this year. Tony Marullo also got two votes, only 1 comment. The guy seems to have figured it out these past few years, culminating to a spectacular campaign this season. He has my vote to win the title. Tony, he's had a storyline where he used to be the joke of the league, and then he evolved to sneaking into the 8 seeds for a couple years before, and now he's a real competitor. So hats off to Tony. But we have a winner for Manager of the Year with 5 votes. It is the Rivals Recap's own Brian Marsh for picking up Dak, Kyron, and McBride off waivers and having the balls to make the Achane trade and not trading Pacheco despite my attempts to trade for him. Will he make a fatal start-sit mistake again in the playoffs? Didn't have the best team out of the gate and has slowly built a juggernaut. I think Marsh is voting for himself. I started Chubb and Dobbins in week 1, lost them both, and still have the second best RB room. Tony had the draft of the year, but many things waiver-wise went right for me. Brian Marsh was my pick for breakout Manager of the Year in the preseason, and now is the man with the number 1 seed heading into the playoffs. Good to see new blood in the mix for the ship. I think this is very well deserved. Marsh got very unlucky with his draft, as he mentioned, with Chubb and Dobbins going out. I think that was in week 1, if not week 2. And really had incredible waiver wire selections throughout the year with Kyron, McBride, and Dak. I will say that earlier this season, I was talking trades with my favorite person to talk trades with, Brian Marsh. And I think I offered him Fields and one of my receivers for Pacheco, which he agreed with earlier in the day, and then did the classic Brian. I need to sit on think about it. And this was on a Tuesday night. As I text him, I go hey man, do you mind just letting me know? Because if we are going to do this trade, I'm going to trade you Fields. I'm going to pick up Dak. And Brian didn't respond and then picked up Dak. So kind of a slimy move, but I mean, I guess you got to be slimy to be manager of the year. Let's get to moron of the year. Gentlemen's Club Moron of the Year. We also have a clear winner here with 6 votes, but we're going to read all the votes. Spencer Sklar, you got 1 vote. Spencer doesn't get enough heat. Seems like he'll give up halfway through the season, but brag about how he's in first in his other leagues. Sad. Let me ask the league this. Listen, we give James Ortiz a ton of shit for how he manages this team. Does Spencer manage it that differently? Tony Marullo, you got 1 vote, but no comment. So I would imagine this came from Charlie or Weston after I beat you last week because he didn't start quarterback. John Rast got 2 votes here. He had everything going for him, and he absolutely blew it. I thought he was a genius the first few weeks. Turns out he is, in fact, a moron. Probably myself. This is John voting for himself for moron of the year for not demanding Olave in the Debo trade. John, there's a 0% chance I would have traded you Bijan and Olave. My team would have had a pulse with him. Yeah, I mean, why didn't you just demand the rest of my team while you're there? John, I think his best record of all time in the Gentlemen's Club is 7-7. I think he might be the guy. He might be the new Brian Marsh that is just going to go 7-7 no matter what happens every year. It's really incredible. He's gotten unlucky in some aspects for sure, but we were also saying at the beginning of the year, you're going to go all in. You're leaving yourself very susceptible for injuries. So, he kind of got what he deserved. Matt Lynch, 3 votes. He voted for himself. The next explanation was no explanation needed. And then the last comment was, you are what your record says you are. Winless teams are historic. Worst team of all time. Record low whore. I mean, you're not going to get much disagreements amongst the group for voting. We got it 0-13. Moron of the year. I can't think of one notable move that Lynch made all year. So maybe he's a moron of the year for just not even trying. I mean, I remember he traded like Lamar Jackson for Tutu Atwell. So that was a dumb trade. But he did get 27 points from Ezekiel Elliott on Thursday night. So maybe he's going to win. Probably not. All right, we have our 6-vote consensus manager of the year, and most people could probably guess it based off the feedback over the last few weeks. It's James Ortiz. Let's read the comments. It's hard deciding between Ortiz and Rast. At least Rast tried. Ortiz had a poopy roster from start to finish and did nothing about it, and he added nothing to the group. Gee, that was a knife twist at the end. No explanation needed. Next one. Yeah, this one could be me, but probably should be Lynch because it's impossible to do what he's doing. Also could be Eric, who says no. So not only can James apparently not decide on a trade, but he can't decide on more of the year. The next comment is just always. The next comment is James Ortiz for getting trigger happy with Cup. And then when it backfired, he cowered with his mediocre team, not wanting to screw it up again. And the last one's gotta be Ortiz. Started with the Cup draft pick, Cup trade, and then numerous bad start sits he had. Too many players off the same mid-caliber, and he never knew what to do. Should have tried to trade more or something. I mean, the same points are being brought up over and over and over again, but I really feel, I don't know, are we speaking to a brick wall? The point on starting the same mid-caliber players, there was a point in time I was offering him Olave for a running back, and he's like, Jerry Jeudy, Odell Beckham, and Hollywood Brown are the same players to me. So, I don't know. It's like, what am I supposed to say to that? James, congrats. Moron of the year. 3 more segments. Let's keep going. Matt Lynch, the worst? Let's just read through these. I feel like there's been as bad as Lynch's team in past years, but he has a mix of a bad team and extremely unlucky with most points against. If Lynch goes 0-14, then yes, he will be the worst. My team was dog shit last year, though, and Weston's a few years ago. Maybe, but I have a serious problem. Has Ortiz ever made the playoffs? I have a serious question. Has Ortiz ever made the playoffs? I genuinely don't recall him ever making it. His team this year, yeah, the horror score is going to be ugly. Yeah, he is. Again, not much to say other than this is completely absurd. Don't think that this was possible. No one else could have gone 0-13 in this league and fly under the radar like Lynch has. Says a lot about how much the league likes him as a person, but he could be the worst of all time. If Lynch played every single team every single week, he would only have 2 weeks beating more than 3 team members. I'm not sure. Okay, I understand that now. To Lynch's credit, he does have the hardest strength of schedule, but maybe. Don't we all play every team once? Yeah, pretty much. This is horrendous. Hope he caps off the 0-14. I mean, I'm hoping he doesn't cap off the 0-14. I'm hoping he caps off the 0-16, because if he goes 0-14 and doesn't lose the toilet bowl, that's bullshit. Without a doubt, I like his team more than my 2017. And then Matthew Lynch commented himself. He said, probably. I mean, has Lynch had a bad injury or anything, or is his team just ass? It seems like the latter. But like I said, he might beat Kevin this week though. All right. I don't know if anyone realized I broke out the Sundays hat for the first time this year. I guess this is the pinnacle segment of the finale. Who do you want to win the championship? Shout out to Tony Marullo for taking this segment 2 weeks ago when I let him host Safe Space, despite the fact that it's been in the Safe Space finale every year I've ever done this. Ian Jones got a vote. He really needs a win somewhere in his life. +1. +1 to that. John Rass got a vote. John Rass might not even make the playoffs. Many former champs in the thick of it. Can't pick any of them. Sedano's team is bad. Tony's a rival. Therefore, Mr. John Rass. And really, we had 2 people get most of the votes. One person got 4, one person got 6. Tony, you were the one who got 4. Guy's team is deep. That'd be funny. Anyone but Tony. But I think this person still voted for you. I don't know. And wants to keep seeing the videos. I think he'd really gloat about it. What do I have to say about Anthony? Let me say this. If I win this week, after Anthony could have killed me this last week, and he could kill me this week, and then I get a chance to see Big T in the playoffs, I mean that's the 8 seed beating the 1 seed times fucking 5. He had what? 3 chances to kill me off. I wouldn't mind seeing Tony win. I like Tony. Brian Marsh, you got 6 votes, the most votes. Nice kid. Deserves a spot on the trophy. Would love to see him win it. Marsh also said he would dance wildly on camera if he won. Rass would be nice to see win given the Charleston draft, but the moment he got momentum, he became insufferable. True. Been saying it, Tony Juggernaut, it's his year, but I want Marsh. No one deserves it more. Just hope he won't overthink a start-sit decision that cost him the ship like it did last year. Marsh, kid puts in more time and effort than anyone. Would love to see the trophy in the backdrop of every rival recap show. I like Marsh. Listen, if Marsh and I never talked a trade in the history of life, we might be best friends. We haven't nailed how to do that, which I think takes a strain on our relationship every fantasy football season. I also sometimes think Marsh just doesn't like me as a person, but he does edit my videos. He does the Rival Recap show every week. He does spend a lot of time decorating his house for the holidays. I wouldn't mind Marsh winning either. I also don't want Eric to be the only two-time champion. So I wouldn't mind if a two-time champion won this year. So whether that be Ian, Kevin is like not annoying, so I wouldn't mind Kevin. Weston would be annoying. And yeah, maybe Charlie too. He would also be annoying. All right, let's wrap this up. We're going to end the season of Safe Space with how we end every season, with some Safe Space submissions. Nice work, Joe and Marsh. Give yourself some praise for another great and successful campaign of Safe Space and the Rival Recap. Another wild season in the books. Thank you, Joe and Marsh, for great content as always. See you all at Lynch's Beer Mile. P.S. Kevin should have to run it too because he never had a punishment last year. Could be a fun race. Thank you for the thank yous. Marsh, we only got 2, so the rest are actual submissions. But it is nice. Fill your hearts with hate this playoff season. Remember all the people who offered you garbage trades, said that your team sucks, or you're a bad manager. Honestly, these all seem like direct shots at me. You have 8 months to be kind afterwards, but let's really go after each other this final month. I do feel like my relationship with most of you really sours during fantasy football. And we build it back up. We build it back up in the spring and summer. But yeah, let's get some good playoff vids this year. Some people in this league could put a little more effort in their videos. I'll leave it at that. The feeling of having a good fantasy team is unmatched. I would wake up excited every Tuesday morning to relish in my team's standings. This feels like someone that's getting a little cocky before the playoffs. Tony submitted that. On another note, some members really rubbed me the wrong way this season. Not something you want to do to the top seed. Does Tony think he's like a fucking mob boss because he's the 1 seed, dude? You're not even the 1 seed. My God, Tony, dude. Like, you're ruining it. You're ruining the vibes around your team. You're pulling what Ras did earlier this season. You're doing what I do every fucking year. Why brag about my team and nobody wants me to win? Like, first you were spineless this week, and now you're fucking acting like a mob boss, dude. Come on. If I make the playoffs, I demand Tony to pick me in the first round as his matchup. This is from Charlie Carita, Tony, so take that as you will. Even though I won't be winning the title, I'm hopeful I'll end the year ahead of Ortiz in the standings. Another form of victory for the young Esquires. I think we should just put like Spencer and Ortiz in a playpen and have them like play their 2 teams against each other each week, and they won't make the playoffs anyway. So they every week they just submit about themselves or about each other and whatever. Go Birds! Tell Kevin that crazier things have happened. I would hate to waste a win before the losers bracket, though. That's from Lynch. According to Time Magazine on April 19th, 2023, the body of a female Yangtze softshell turtle washed up on the shores of Dong Mo Lake, Vietnam. This is believed to be the last female Yangtze turtle in the world. It is believed that there are now only 2 males remaining. See you Sunday, Marsh. I am not in this inside joke with Brian and the Turtles, so Okay? Sounds kind of weird for me, but maybe you got a few laughs. Great season, everyone. Looking forward to finishing and the Beer Mile Bowl next year. If this league values gamesmanship more than integrity, I will act accordingly. And lastly, we had one submission that I think encapsulates what should be everyone's mindset that is competing for the championship this year. Best of luck to you all, and fuck you all. Gentlemen, thank you for another great episode or season of Safe Space. This might be the last fucking video from Joey this year. That is a realization I might come to tomorrow evening at this time. But hopefully not. Godspeed.